progress back here, and changing a little bit every day. We've been those are next year's, those shiny ones next year's Raffle motor, and that's going in this chassis.
Cool.
Real shortly.
37.
Yeah. 37. And then the 44 flatties for this chassis over here. A couple of the old 29 and the 38 over there, both hot rods, and 29 over here. So yeah, it's kind of continual progress. Things change every day.
You build for other people or just for the...
Not anymore. I used to do a lot of customer work, and I just don't have time anymore.
You got enough.
Yeah, there's a bunch of our own stuff here to work on. The museum's gotten so busy where I like to spend most of my day up there. I've got a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old at home, and try and spend as much time with them as I can while they're young.
Yes.
You know, so there's a time though is work back here till 2, 3 in the morning every day. It's just what we did. 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 was up front, and we always called this the 6 to midnight gig, and a lot of the times it was later than midnight. So got a lot of work done back here when my dad and I were working, and he'd been doing it his whole life, and that's very much, he grew this place from zero, and the kind of sheer hard work and determination. And I came here in 04, early 05, and then we really got a lot done for a long time. It's still turning up a lot of motorcycles and finding restoration projects. That's the one I found in Greentown, the old rusty one over there. That's from Indiana, and that's a 39 knucklehead. And the guy, he read an article that I used to write in a magazine, and then called me up in January, and we made a really happy deal. He called me in January, and I kind of lost touch with him. And we just had a lot going on. My dad passed in February, so there was a period there where I wasn't doing a ton of getting out and about afterwards. And I was going to an antique bike meet in Wasion, Ohio, and was running through Indy to the Speedway Museum to pick up a bike that I had just got from them. And I was just about into Louisville, and the guy called me and was like, "Oh yeah, we talked a while back about 39." I was like, "Well, where are you from? I forgot where you said you're from." "Indiana." "Well, where in Indiana?" "Oh, about 45 minutes, an hour north of Indianapolis." And it's like, wow. All right.
Next exit.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that worked out really, really nice.
This one here.
Yeah, so that's a 39, and every dang part to the bike was in there. They must have taken apart a beautiful motorcycle to restore it. And it was taken apart 40 years ago. It was primed, and then they just let it sit. So, that's surface rust through the primer there. So that white, so it'd be really straight and easy to refinish. The frame's straight as an arrow. The fenders are some of the nicest fenders I've ever seen. In the box in front of it, all the little small parts are there. The forks behind it, handlebars are behind it.
Just you'll take that back and bring it.
Yeah, that'll end up probably being a real nice shiny bike.
Shiny bike.
Yeah.
Shiny bike.
Yeah, I'm conflicted when it comes to that sort of stuff. Sometimes I really like doing stuff and leaving an original finish if I can, because to get one to look like that is an immense amount of work, and there's extra expense there, and a lot of the times the extra expense and the extra work doesn't translate, to final historical value or final dollar value, so putting something together and mechanically refreshing it so it's perfect inside, runs like brand new, the outside just has the original finish. That one, though, is probably just that candidate that, being that the fenders have been sandblasted and reprimed over the years, and none of the original black paint's left, or none of the original sheet metal paint's left, that would probably be a good candidate to shine up and make real pretty. So, we'll see where it goes from here.
Your dad definitely wanted to leave them original, huh?
Oh, yeah,
he was
big
really,
focus on originality.
and those are the people that really appreciate those bikes when they're original. Anyone,
Yeah.
once they're restored, you can be an enthusiast and love it, but
Well, and part of that
man.
also is that when they're original, there's no question as to the machine's authenticity. Nowadays, there's so many great companies out there that remake parts that without the remade parts, a lot of guys wouldn't even be able to keep their bikes on the road. So it's a great service, and it's amazing that they're out there and they do it, but there's nothing like original. So when a bike's restored and it's repainted, you can't tell if those floorboards are old original ones that have been resurfaced and refinished, or if they're new reproduction ones, or you can't tell if those cylinders are the reproduced ones, or some fenders are really hard to tell. Where when one's original, you can look at that thing, and every piece on it you can identify whether it's real or not. So it's
That one in the front there by the cash register, the one for the raffle, that's original.
Oh yeah, man, that's
I mean,
all
you
real
just
stuff.
redid that.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful bike. Yeah, that's one of the last bikes my dad worked on. And 48, that's a really sweet machine. And the raffle is our big fundraiser. It's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
So without the raffle, this place wouldn't exist. Period. We've given away. This will be our 21st motorcycle we've given away. It's our 19th. Wait, no, this will be our 20th. Wait, it'll be our 21st bike that we've given away. One year we raffled 2 bikes. We did them both at the same time. But it's been 19 years we've been doing this, and without, like I said, without the raffle, this place wouldn't exist. So that's why this bike here, I'm really about halfway done with it. The engine's done, the transmission's done. Today I was going to bolt that motor in there, hook up the drive line, hook up the rear chain, maybe get the floorboards, brake pedal, clutch pedal, some of that stuff sorted. Of course, I'll install the oil tank, install the coil, start on some dash wiring, throttle, cable, and spark advance stuff hooked up. And then by the end of today or by the end of tomorrow, that thing will be a lot further down the line. I'm probably 150 hours into it, and I've probably got 100 hours to go. So it's 37 too, so really tough year. Second year for the knucklehead, and anything that's pre-World War II is really difficult.
Hard to get parts.
Hard to get parts, original parts, and their parts are really expensive because the Depression. People think Depression and they think 1929, 30, 31, 32. The Depression lasted all the way through really the onset of World War II. It was all through the 1930s. Production was low. People didn't have lots of money to spend. Harley goes from the late 20s making 20-something thousand motorcycles, 25, 28,000 bikes, down to 1933 was their low production year. It was 3,400 bikes. And then, 36, maybe they make 5,000 motorcycles. And, so it's really low production stuff. And 37, too, is a lot of running changes over the Knucklehead's first year was in 36. So 36, 37, 38, 39, there's changes throughout all those years where they kind of incorporate all these one-year-only parts. And that is really as nice of a 37 power plant as there is. Yeah. Yeah. And then this is almost all original parts here, which is pretty remarkable. The original frame, original fork, original brakes, original CT, original bars. Most all of this stuff is original, authentic 37 stuff, and it's just really, really, really tough stuff to find. So it would make for a great bike, and we try and one up ourselves every year. Make next year's bike a little nicer than last year's bike. It's going to be painted Delphine blue, which Delphine blue is like, it's almost like the color of those pads on the beam up there. It's like cross between teal and baby blue, a little more teal than this. and it's just a super vibrant color. It's a 1937 only
What they
1-year
call it,
color.
like that green's an old-fashioned,
That's-
old-timey color.
That's really neat. That's
I
yeah,
can't believe
that's
that
Nile
color.
green, and
That's just something.
that's a 36
Oh, man.
color. And those two colors together were both 1936 knucklehead colors, but they didn't use them together. The blue went with the cream, and the green went with maroon. We've got two of the green and maroon bikes up front. Don't have any of the blue and cream bikes, but I saw a picture of an old gas tank with that blue, green, and blue combo on there, and it was like, oh my god, I gotta try this. You know, it looks amazing. So that one is coming along. That's a 29 that I'm just building. That's a little street bike. It's kind of building it as a tribute.
Engine support's interesting.
That's called a keystone frame.
Yeah.
So there's a gap in between the frame there, and engine plates hold it together.
Is that
Allows you.
aluminum?
No, those are steel that are nickel plated.
Oh.
Yeah. So now the plates themselves, being that you don't have a belly beneath the motor, it allows you to drop the motor lower in the frame. You get a lower center of gravity, better handling. And it also makes the motor a stress member. It ties everything together a little bit tougher. It's a stronger assembly because it's all based right around the motor there. So neat setup.
Yeah, I learned that from one of your videos.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time in the winter, man.
Definitely. Well, and the one with the black cylinders over against the wall over there, that's the motor that's going in this one. So it'll be coming along.
It's so small than the ones now.
Yeah, and that one's actually bigger displacement than this knucklehead motor. It's just
Longer stroke,
a little bit longer stroke.
because
It's all inside. Initially, that's kind of a cool combination too. That's a 74-inch lower end and a 61-inch top end, which makes it 68 cubic inches. And they're really snappy and quick and potent little machines. So I'm pretty.
No, these are the valve springs and the
Yep.
rod. Are they just open like that?
Yeah, that's all exposed.
No oil?
Yeah, you oil them with a squirt can.
And
So
there's no
manual
oil?
manual oiling.
So
Yeah,
why-
and they sling a little bit, but you know, it's just part of the design back then. It's not till the knucklehead that things are really fully enclosed.
Yeah, here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up top, that's a full enclosed rocker boxes and rocker arms, valve springs, fully pressurized oil system. So that's a really, really cool setup.
Very nice.
Pretty neat, man. I'm
Very
excited to move a lot of that stuff along. You know,
You
I'm-
ever sell any of these things?
I built that orange one. That's probably the last customer bike that I'll do.
But I mean,
for-
like this
for
here, you'll
foreseeable
just
future. This is a
build.
raffle bike.
But well, this.
That's that's a special bike to me. So I'm building that out of parts that I spent a long time collecting, and I don't have any intention of selling it. Not to say that the worlds don't change.
You
Sometimes
paint
they
it.
do.
You paint too?
I don't do the painting.
Yeah.
No, my friend John lives about 30 minutes from here. John's done all of our painting for a long time, and
He knows how to do it.
and he does a real good job. And,
Yeah, I'm not a painter.
you can only do so much, you know.
Yeah, no.
And we would get a lot less done if we, when we all focus on what we're best at, that's when the world is the most efficient and everything works like it should, you know. Yeah, that's right. No doubt about it. Tell me,
Whew.
Yeah.
Sorry about your dad. I meant to say that earlier.
What's that?
Sorry about your dad.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We miss him, that's for
That's a
sure.
tough one.
He's in there everywhere we look.
Yeah.
You know, and I get to talk great stuff about him all day, hear people's good stories about him all day, so I'm very fortunate in that,
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
Thanks for the
letting us
tour.
know.
Yeah, of course, guys.
Back
Well,
there,
thanks
man.
for coming back, and yeah, I was actually
Appreciate
good
it.
here in a few minutes. I'm going to come back and drop that motor in there and turn it into something that actually looks like a motorcycle. Be pretty exciting to get
No,
it
it's
off
okay.
the table. I'll tell you, that motor was all parts that never knew each other. When you put a bike back together, something that was all together, like that 39 knucklehead over in the corner. Not that it won't be challenges, but that'll be it ought to go back together well because all them parts knew each other since the day they left the factory. That motor, all those pieces had never met. So getting all of that to be massaged and finessed into a really nice rotating assembly, and those 164 parts in a set of knuckleheads, none of them met each other. You know, so to make everything mesh and work and operate properly is a task. I got a ton of time into that engine. You know, if you got 60 or so hours into building a knucklehead motor, I bet you 45 of them or 40 of them are in the heads alone, just the
Really?
heads. Yeah.
Really?
So
Okay.
pretty wild.
We're